There's a reason he keeps coming back after weeks of silence. And it is not what you think, sister. He is not confused. He is not busy. He is not healing. He is watching. He is calculating. He is measuring the woman you are becoming without him. And by the end of this video, you're going to see 9 unmistakable signs that prove he has not forgotten you. Not for one single day. But before I tell you exactly what to do, you need to understand what's really happening in his mind. Because once you see it, you'll never look at this situation the same way again. Let me talk to you for a minute. Just you and me. Close the door if you need to. Put the phone face down, because I know exactly where you are right now. You are sitting somewhere, maybe the edge of the bed, maybe the driver's seat in a parking lot you don't remember pulling into, maybe the bathroom floor, because that's the only place in the house. Nobody asks you questions, and you are holding a phone that has been quiet for too many days. You keep checking it. You keep telling yourself you're not checking it. Then you check it again. You've read the last message he sent you so many times. You've memorized the punctuation. You know exactly where the comma is. You know exactly what he didn't say. And every time your phone lights up, your whole chest lifts. And then it drops when you see the name isn't his. The bank, the delivery app, your cousin, anybody but him. And you smile at your coworkers and you laugh at the joke your friend told you. And you post a picture with the caption that pretends you're fine. But inside, there's a woman who is rehearsing what she would say if he called tonight. You've already written 3 different versions of it in your head. One angry, one cool, one soft. You don't even know which version is really you anymore. I see you, sister. I'm not guessing. I've counseled women just like you for more years than I care to count, and I've watched the strongest, smartest, most accomplished queens on God's earth sit across from me and cry over a man who couldn't spell half the words she uses in her emails. And I never judge a single one of them, because pain doesn't ask for your resume before it sits down at your table. You feel foolish, don't you? You feel like you should be past this by now. You feel like a grown woman shouldn't be counting hours between a man's messages. You feel like everybody else moved on and you're the one still stuck at the intersection where he left you. I want you to hear me. That feeling is a liar. That feeling is not the truth about you. That feeling is grief wearing your face and calling itself your identity. And tonight, we're going to take your face back. Because here's what nobody is telling you. The silence is not what you think it is. The distance is not what you think it is. The read receipt with no reply is not what you think it is. He is not gone. He is not over you. He is not sleeping through the night. A man does not stay quietly away from a woman who left a mark on his spirit. He pretends to. There is a difference between a man who has forgotten you and a man who is fighting not to reach for you. And most women never learn it. Tonight, you're going to learn it. Listen to me carefully. I am not here to sell you a fantasy. I am not here to tell you he's on his way back with roses and an apology tied in a bow. Some of them come back. Some of them don't. But whether he returns to you or God removes him from your life to make room for the one he actually assigned to you, either way, you are walking out of this video a different woman than the one who clicked on it. Period. You checked your phone 3 times while I was talking to you just now. I know. It's all right. You will not need to check it as much by the end of the hour. Because when a woman finally understands what silence really means, silence stops being her enemy. Silence becomes her weapon. Silence becomes her sanctuary. Silence becomes the room where God speaks to her about who she really is. Now let me tell you something else, and I need you to hear me on this one. The reason this hurts the way it hurts is not because he was so extraordinary. I need you to sit with that. The reason it hurts is because you poured. You poured your time. You poured your prayers. You poured your imagination, because that's the real currency, isn't it? Not the money, not the hours, the imagination. You imagined a future with this man. You imagined the holidays. You imagined how he'd look holding a child. You imagined how he'd introduce you at the dinner table. And when he pulled back, he didn't just take himself away. He took the whole life you had built for the two of you inside your own mind. That is what you are grieving, not him. The him you invented, the him you hoped he would become, the him you were building a temple for in a heart he never even walked into with his shoes off. And that grief is holy. That grief means you were capable of love. The world doesn't teach women how to give anymore. So don't be ashamed of it. Don't apologize for it. But don't marry it either. But here's what happens next. And this is the part that changes women's lives. So don't move. Because in this next part, I am going to walk you inside his mind. I am going to show you the exact conversation he is having with himself when he sees your name light up on his screen and doesn't answer. I am going to show you why the man who keeps his distance is often the man who is the most obsessed. And once you see it, sister, you cannot unsee it. Now pay attention, because this is where it changes. A man who is truly done with a woman does not need distance. He does not need weeks of silence. He does not need to disappear and reappear like a bad weather system. He simply walks. He blocks. He moves. He remarries his freedom and never looks back. That is a man who is done. The man you are dealing with is not that man. And the sooner you understand that, the sooner you stop confusing his behavior with rejection. Because what you are experiencing is not rejection, sister, it is retreat. And retreat and rejection are two different animals entirely. Let me tell you something. Men do not retreat from women who mean nothing to them. Men retreat from women who mean too much. Sit with that. Read it back. Because everything women's magazines and internet advice columns have told you for the last 20 years has trained you to interpret his distance as a lack of feeling. I am telling you tonight, on the authority of every man who has ever lived in this skin, his distance is very often the loudest confession of feeling he knows how to make. Now, why is that? Why does a man who wants you pull away from you? Let me break it down. A man values what he invests in. He does not value what he is given. He values what he had to build, chase, earn, and protect. When a woman becomes too available, too soft, too anticipating, too accommodating, too quick to respond, too quick to forgive, too quick to explain, she is not doing anything wrong as a human being. Understand me. She is a good woman. But she has removed the one thing that anchors a man's respect, and that is the requirement to work for her presence. When there is no work, there is no worth in his eyes. That is not fair. That is not spiritual. That is not how it should be. But that is how it is. And a father who loves you tells you the truth about the world, not the truth about how the world ought to be. So what happens? What happens is the man who wanted you begins to feel a strange discomfort. He cannot name it. He does not sit down and journal about it. Men don't do that, my dear. He simply feels an itch in his spirit that says, something in this is too easy, and easy things do not last. And so he does the most predictable thing men have done since the beginning of time. He pulls back, not because he doesn't want you, but because he wants to see if the ground still holds when he steps off of it. He wants to see if you are real or if you are a mirror that only reflects him. I've seen this 1,000 times. 1,000 times. A woman comes to me and she says, I don't understand. He was so into me. He was talking about the future. He met my mother, and then out of nowhere, he just went cold. And I ask her one question. I say, sister, tell me, in the last month before he pulled back, did you find yourself doing more of the reaching? And every time she looks at me and her eyes fill up and she says, yes, every time. Because a man's retreat is almost never random. It is a response. It is a response to a shift in energy that she felt but could not name. Now, here is the second thing you have to understand. Men fear the loss of a woman who has become her own sword. Write that down if you have a pen. Men fear the loss of a woman who has become her own source. Not a woman who is loud about her independence. Not a woman posting affirmations on social media at midnight. A woman who has quietly, privately, spiritually stopped needing him to complete her sentence. That woman is terrifying to a man who is used to being needed, because a woman who does not need him cannot be controlled by the withholding of his attention. And withholding attention, sister, is the only weapon most emotionally lazy men carry. The moment you stop reacting to that weapon, it becomes useless in his hand. And a man with a useless weapon is a man forced for the first time to actually confront what he feels. Understand? Let me tell you a story. I knew a woman. I'll call her by no name because her name is your name and my sister's name and my daughter's name and every woman's name who has ever loved a man who took her softness for granted. She was with a man for 2 years. 2 years of good mornings and good nights and shared plans and slow Sundays. Then he got quiet. Not gone, quiet. He'd text once a week. He'd say he was tired. He'd say work was heavy. He'd say he loved her, but he needed space. And she did what most of you are doing right now. God bless her. She reached. She over-explained. She showed up at his job with lunch. She wrote long messages at 2 a.m. asking if she had done something wrong. She apologized for things she had not done. And the more she reached, the further he drifted, because his subconscious was reading her behavior like a book. And the book was saying, you cannot lose me. I will chase you no matter what you do. And then one Sunday, something in her broke, not in a dramatic way, in a quiet way. She woke up, she looked in the mirror, and she said out loud in her bathroom, I am not doing this anymore. She didn't text him to tell him. She didn't announce it. She didn't post about it. She just stopped reaching, stopped explaining, stopped rehearsing. She went to church that morning for the first time in months. She started walking in the evenings. She started cooking meals for herself the way she used to cook for him, with music, with wine, with candles. She started sleeping through the night. Her skin cleared up. She lost the weight she'd been carrying in her face, that grief weight that women wear when they are being emotionally starved. 3 weeks. 3 weeks, sister. 3 weeks of pure, dignified, prayerful silence on her end. And his name lit up her phone one Tuesday evening at 8:47 p.m. Not a good morning text, not a hey stranger, a paragraph, a whole paragraph about how he had been thinking, about how he had been unfair, about how he missed her voice, about how he had been walking past a restaurant they used to go to, and it undid him. She read it. She put the phone down. She finished her dinner. She replied the next day in the afternoon with 3 sentences. 3. And that man drove 47 miles to sit outside her door that weekend and asked her if she would see him. Now here is what I need you to hear. He did not change because she begged him. He did not change because she explained him into changing. He did not change because she gave him one more chance to prove he loved her. He changed because she withdrew the audience his ego was performing for. The moment she stopped watching him disappear, disappearing lost its power. That is masculine psychology in one sentence. A man's behavior is only as bold as your attention allows it to be. If you stop clapping, the show ends. And this is the part they don't want you to know. Men return to the silence they cannot control. When you go quiet in a way he can predict, because you're mad, because you're testing him, because you saw a video online, a man feels it in the air like a thunderstorm rolling in, and he braces for it. He knows exactly what to do. Send flowers, send a meme, send a hey you at 11:40 p.m. That kind of silence is a game to him, and men are trained from boyhood to win games. But when you go quiet because you have genuinely, deeply, spiritually recentered, when your silence is not a strategy but a shift, he cannot read it. He cannot predict it. He cannot manipulate it. Because it isn't coming from a place of wanting him back. It's coming from a place of remembering who you were before you started performing for his attention. That silence is holy. That silence is sacred. That silence is the weapon of silence, and it is the only weapon that has ever moved a grown man's heart. Now, let me tell you something else nobody is telling you. Men have an inner voice, and that inner voice is far more sentimental than they will ever let on. When a woman has touched him deeply, that voice does not go away just because he stopped calling. That voice whispers to him in his car when a song comes on. That voice whispers to him when he sees a woman with your walk in the grocery store. That voice whispers to him when he pulls the same brand of tea out of his cabinet that you used to drink. That voice whispers to him at 2:14 in the morning when the room is dark and there is nobody there to impress. And the more he tries to bury that voice under new distractions, the louder it gets. That is not romance, my dear. That is neurology. That is the human brain, wired by God himself, refusing to release the imprint of a woman who marked it. He didn't lose interest. He lost access to a woman who forgot her value, and that woman is dead now. If any of this is landing on you right now, do me one favor. Tap that subscribe button, because I make these videos for the sister who's ready to remember who she is. Not for the woman who wants to feel comforted, for the woman who wants to feel corrected. Because comfort will bury you in the same bed you're crying in. Correction will get you up out of it. Now let me give you one more piece before we walk into the next room together. There is a myth that if a man loved you, he would always show it. That is a lie sold by people who have never studied how men actually process loss. A man in love with a woman he doesn't know how to keep will very often do the opposite of what he feels. Because feelings terrify him, he will withdraw from the woman he cannot stop thinking about. He will befriend the woman he cannot commit to. He will chase the woman he does not respect. And he will hide from the woman he does. So when I tell you that his distance is not evidence of his indifference, hear me. His distance is very often evidence of the exact opposite. A man overwhelmed by a woman he has not yet learned how to become the man for. But watch this, because in the next part, I have to tell you something you may not want to hear. It is not about him anymore. It is about you. And what I am about to say next is going to shift the ground under your feet. Because once you see how much of this was never his fault and never even about him, You will never lose yourself over a silent man again. So don't move. Now, sister, I need you to sit up. I need you to put your shoulders back. Because for the last 20 minutes I have been talking about him. And I promised you a father's honesty. And a father does not let his daughter leave the room, believing that another human being is the reason her light dimmed. You are not the victim of his silence. You are the architect of your response to it. And there is a difference between those two things. And most women never learn it. Listen to me carefully. You were never the problem. Your love was not too much. Your softness was not too much. Your loyalty was not too much. Your capacity to imagine a beautiful life with a man was not too much. Anybody who told you those things were flaws was jealous of a garden they could not tend. Do you understand me? But, and here is where I have to be a father to you. Your availability was the problem. Your reach was the problem. Your inability to sit in the discomfort of not knowing where he stood was the problem. Your habit of filling every silence with your own voice, your own explanation, your own apology, that was the problem. Because when a woman does not protect her softness with boundaries, her softness gets mistaken for weakness. And a man does not marry weakness. A man may sleep with it. A man may pass time with it. But a man does not build a life around a woman who has no floor beneath her. Yes. Do you hear me? You were leaking energy. That is the phrase. You were leaking. Every double text you sent was a leak. Every apology for things he did was a leak. Every time you canceled your own plans to sit by a phone that wasn't ringing was a leak. Every time you smiled through a disrespect that should have gotten him removed from your life was a leak. And a woman who is leaking cannot fill anybody's cup. She cannot even fill her own. And a man, for all his flaws, can sense a leaking woman from a mile away. He will drink from her, but he will not marry her. He will lean on her, but he will not build with her. Because leaking energy is the energy of scarcity, and a man does not commit to scarcity. A man commits to abundance. A man commits to the woman whose well is so full that his presence in her life is a bonus, not a lifeline. And I know that stings. I know it does. But sit with the sting, because the sting is not shaming you. The sting is waking you up. There is a difference between a soft woman and a bendable woman, and most women never learn it. A soft woman has a spine of steel wrapped in silk. She will love you deeply, patiently, extravagantly. But the moment you disrespect her, that steel introduces itself, and she is gone before you finish your sentence. A bendable woman has no spine at all. She is all silk, no steel. She will accept anything because she is terrified that the alternative to acceptance is being alone. And so she trades her peace for his presence over and over again until one day she wakes up in her mid-30s and realizes she has been in a relationship for 6 years with a man who has never once introduced her to his mother. You are being called tonight into softness with steel. That is the queen posture. That is the high value posture. And I don't say high value the way the internet says it. I don't mean designer bags and expensive dinners. I mean value the way God measures it. A woman who knows what she is worth because she knows who she is. A woman who does not audition for love because she does not audition for her own existence. A woman whose standards are not a wall to keep men out, but a filter to let the right man in. When a woman becomes her own source, a man moves every single time. Because now his presence has to earn a place in a life that is already whole. Now his effort has to match a peace that is already established. Now, his consistency has to compete with her own company. And let me tell you something. When a woman finally learns to enjoy her own company, that is the most competitive thing on this planet. There is no woman he can flirt with, no distraction he can chase, no situationship he can hide inside that will outperform a woman who is genuinely happy alone. That woman is undefeated. Let me tell you something else. Your standards are not walls. Your standards are a filter. There is a difference. A wall keeps everyone out. A filter keeps the wrong ones out and lets the right one in. You do not need to become hard. You do not need to become cold. You do not need to become that girl who never texts back and posts about being unbothered while she cries in her car. That is performance. That is not power. Power is quiet. Power is settled. Power looks at his name on the screen and feels no urgency, not because she has learned to suppress herself, but because she has genuinely found a life bigger than his attention. Now, listen, your softness was never the reason he pulled back. Your softness in the absence of standards was the reason he pulled back. Because softness without standards trains a man to believe he can take without giving. And a man who has been trained to take from you will not respect you. He will use you until he finds a woman whose softness costs him something, and he will marry her. I have watched it happen 1,000 times. 1,000 times. Good women, extraordinary women, more beautiful and more capable than the woman he eventually chose, passed over. Not because he didn't love them, but because he never had to become a better man to keep them. And the woman he did marry, 9 times out of 10, she was not more beautiful. She was not smarter. She was not sweeter. She had one thing the first woman didn't have, a floor, a non-negotiable floor beneath her presence. A line she would not let him cross. And that floor made him grow up. That floor made him show up. That floor made him decide. You have to become the floor, sister, not the ceiling he keeps hitting his head on and resenting. The floor, the unshakable, non-negotiable ground beneath the version of love you will accept. And here's where the reframe gets deep. You did not lose him. You lost a version of yourself who was willing to shrink to fit inside a space he had built too small for you. That version of you is not coming back. Bury her. Say goodbye to her. Thank her because she loved you enough to protect you until you were ready for this moment. But she cannot come with you into this next season. She was too tired. She was too anxious. She was too available. She was too apologetic. She has to be laid down. And in her place, the woman God actually made you to be has to stand up. That woman is not chasing anybody. That woman is not double texting anybody. That woman is not rehearsing what she would say if he called. That woman is not competing with the girl he posted on his story. That woman is not reading his old messages to feel close to him. That woman is not staying up until 2 a.m. wondering. That woman is unbothered, not in a performative way, in a spiritually settled way. She has a full life. She has a full calendar. She has a full soul. And she has a full understanding that any man who does not recognize her is doing her a favor by disqualifying himself early. You are not his second choice. You are not his backup plan. You are not the woman he keeps around because she never quits. You are the standard. You are the woman he has to grow into. And if he cannot grow, that is not your grief to carry. That is his consequence to live. Now, let me tell you what silence really does. Because I said earlier that silence becomes your weapon. And I want to explain that phrase because it is easily misunderstood. Silence is not the cold shoulder. Silence is not the punishment. Silence is not the manipulation. Silence, when a woman uses it correctly, is not aimed at him at all. It is aimed at herself. Silence is the room in which she remembers her own voice. Because when you are constantly talking to a man, explaining yourself to a man, chasing a man for reassurance, you cannot hear your own inner voice. She gets drowned out. And that inner voice is where God speaks to you. That inner voice is where wisdom lives. That inner voice is where the version of you that knows exactly what to do is waiting for the noise to stop so she can be heard. When you go silent, you are not withdrawing from him. You are returning to yourself. And a man can feel the difference between a woman who is silent because she is angry with him and a woman who is silent because she has moved back into her own house. The first silence, he will wait out. The second silence, he will fear. Because the second silence has nothing to do with him. And a man cannot manipulate what has nothing to do with him. He didn't leave. He watched you leave yourself. And he stayed away hoping you'd come back before he had to admit he needed you. Now here's what happens next. I am about to give you the actual playbook. 9 signs, 9 indicators, 9 unmistakable clues that prove, without a single word from his mouth, that he has not forgotten you. And each one comes with what you're supposed to do about it. Because knowledge without instruction is just anxiety with vocabulary. So don't move. Get comfortable. Because the next part is where women's lives change. All right? Sit up. Take a breath. Here we go. Sign number 1, and write this one down, because most women dismiss it and lose the hold the game right here. The lingering ghost-like. That is what I call it. You will post a picture, a normal picture, nothing designed to bait him, nothing thirsty, just you living your life. And somewhere in the middle of the night, 3 days later, a like will appear from him. Sometimes not from him, from his cousin, from his best friend from high school, from the guy who used to comment on your posts back when the two of you were still together. That is not random, sister. Let me tell you something. Men communicate through proxies. They send scouts. When a man cannot bring himself to reach out directly because his pride will not let him, because his last conversation with you ended badly, because he is not sure whether you have moved on, he will send a signal through his ecosystem, a like from his brother, a view on your story from an account he thought you didn't know about, a false request from a burner. That is a hand reaching through a wall. Now, here is the reason it works on him. A man's ego is far more fragile than his shoulders suggest. He wants to know you're still there before he shows up. He wants confirmation that the door isn't fully closed before he knocks. So he tests the perimeter. He walks around the fence looking for a soft spot. Your job, and hear me carefully, is to not become the soft spot. Your job is to see the signal, register it internally, and change nothing about your life in response to it. Do not post more. Do not post less. Do not put on lipstick for the next selfie because you know he's watching. Do not text his cousin to fish. Nothing. You continue living the exact life you were living when you didn't know he was watching. Because that is the life he is falling back in love with. That is the woman he wants to come home to. The moment you perform for the audience of one, the show becomes rehearsed. And men can smell a rehearsal. Understand? The exact behavior is simple. When you see the ghost, like when you see the sudden reappearance of his mother on your Instagram after 6 months of nothing, when his best friend suddenly starts watching every one of your stories, you smile once to yourself in the mirror. That's it. You do not screenshot it and send it to your girlfriend. You do not analyze it. You do not build a theory. You simply file it away as evidence. He is watching. Now go about your evening. And if you skip this rule, if you take the ghost-like as an invitation to soften, to reach, to check on him, you will collapse 3 weeks of dignified silence in one text message. And he will feel that collapse like a barometer feels a storm. He will know he still has power over you. And once he knows, sister, he will use it. Not because he is evil, because he is a man, and men will use every open door until you close it. Sign number 2, and this is where most women fail. The 11:47 p.m. text. That specific window between roughly 11 p.m. and 2 a.m. is what I call the hour of the ghost. That is when he will reach for you. Not at noon. Not at 3 p.m. when his mind is clear. At 11:47 p.m., when the world is quiet, when the alcohol has softened the walls, when the woman he was distracting himself with has gone home or gone to sleep, when the ceiling is above him and the questions are inside him, that is when he types your name into the search bar of his own phone. Sometimes he'll send something, sometimes just an emoji, sometimes a screenshot of a song, sometimes a hey, sometimes a long paragraph he'll immediately regret. Sometimes he'll type, delete, and never press send at all. But you'll see him active in the app and you'll wonder why he didn't reach out. He was reaching, my dear. He just couldn't finish the reach. Here is why it works on him. The male mind, when it is quiet, cannot lie to itself. During the day, he can bury it. During the day, he can be busy. During the day, he can flirt with the coworker. But at 11:47 p.m., when his phone is the only light in the room, he cannot outrun what he actually feels. And what he actually feels is you. Your response, and I need you to hear me, is to not answer at that hour. Ever. If he reaches at 11:47 p.m., you will see it in the morning. You will not respond that night. You will not respond at 6 a.m. You will respond, if you respond at all, sometime after lunch the next day. And your response will be short. Warm, if you choose to be warm. Distant, if you choose to be distant, but short. 2 sentences, maybe 3, not 4, never 4. Because 4 sentences reads as availability. And availability at 11:47 p.m. is what he was fishing for. The exact script, if you decide to answer at all, sounds like this. Hey, hope you're doing all right. That's it. That is not cold. That is not cruel. That is not childish. That is a woman with a full life who acknowledges a man exists without organizing her evening around him. If he sends more, you may reply the next afternoon again, briefly. But you do not, under any circumstance, jump into a conversation at midnight with a man who could not find you at 2 p.m. Because a man who only wants you at midnight is a man who wants a moment, not a life. And you are not a moment anymore. Skip this rule and you will be back in a 3-month cycle of late night crumbs. And a woman cannot build a home on crumbs. Sign number 3. The mutual friend suddenly starts appearing in your life. His cousin sends you a happy birthday text he never sent before. His best friend runs into you at a store he never shops at. His sister, who you always got along with, sends you a thinking of you message out of nowhere. Sister, that is not a coincidence. That is reconnaissance. He is using his people to gather information about you. He wants to know if you're seeing anybody. He wants to know if you seem happy. He wants to know if you mentioned him. He wants a report. The reason it works on him is that men, especially the ones who did you wrong, cannot bring themselves to ask you directly. Their pride will not let them. So they send the softest, most palatable member of their circle to ping you. And whatever you say to that person will be on his phone screen within an hour. I promise you. Your behavior, and this is important, you are cordial, you are warm, you are brief. You do not ask about him. You do not send messages for him. You do not mention his name. You do not fish. You treat that person exactly the way you would treat any other kind acquaintance who reached out. Nothing more, nothing less. If they mention him, and they will, because that is the entire purpose of the outreach, you say something short and non-reactive. Oh, I hope he's doing well. Full stop. Do not follow up. Do not ask questions. Do not sigh. Do not pause meaningfully, because whatever emotion you show in that moment will be relayed back to him faster than you can say the word closure. If you skip this rule, if you unload, if you tell his sister how hurt you were, if you send a message for him through her, you have just handed him the entire scoreboard. He now knows he is still winning, and he will disappear again for another 6 weeks, because the pursuit is more fun than the arrival for a man who is not yet ready to be a man. Sign number 4, he keeps something of yours. And when I say something, I mean anything. A hoodie, a book, a pair of earrings, a hair tie in his car, a photo on his phone he never deleted, a voice note he never cleaned out of his messages. Sister, men throw things away. Men are efficient. When a man keeps something that belonged to a woman, that object is not clutter. It is an altar. He may not even realize it, but every time he opens that drawer or reaches into that closet or scrolls past that photo, he is reminded. And reminders keep the imprint alive. The reason this works on him is that memory is not something men can outrun through willpower. Memory is triggered by objects, by scents, by places. He may have moved on in every conscious way, deleted your number, unfollowed you, told his friends he's fine. But as long as that hoodie is in his closet, you are too. And on the nights when the loneliness gets thick, he will find that hoodie. He will hold it, and he will feel you like you're still in the room. Your job here is not to ask for it back. Do you hear me? Do not text him, hey, I need my earrings. Do not create a reason to see him. Do not use the hoodie as leverage. Let him keep it. Let him choke on it. Because as long as it is in his house, you are too. And you have not spent a single word of your dignity to keep yourself present in his life. Silence is doing the work for you. If you skip this rule and you initiate contact under the pretense of retrieving your belongings, you have just handed him a graceful exit ramp. He will meet you. He will be charming. He will smell good. He will smile at you the way he used to. He will apologize just enough. And you will fold, and he will disappear again within 11 days. I have seen it happen 1,000 times. Sign number 5, the anniversary reappearance. Somewhere near a date that mattered to the two of you, a birthday, an anniversary, the day you met, the holiday you spent together, a message will land. It may be subtle. It may just be a thinking of you today. It may be a picture with no caption. It may be a random song lyric. But the timing is not random, sister. Never. The timing is his subconscious calendar reminding him of a woman he could not fully forget. Why does it work on him? Because grief has a schedule, and men do not know how to reschedule it. He will be fine for weeks. Then a date will approach, and something in his chest will shift, and he will not know why. And he will reach for you the way a hungry man reaches for a familiar meal. Not because he has done the work, because he is hungry. Your response is to receive the message with quiet dignity. Do not match his energy. If he sends thinking of you, you may respond hours later. That's kind of you. I hope you're well. That is it. You are not going to reminisce. You are not going to ask if he wants to talk. You are not going to send a soft opening for him to walk through. If he wants to walk through the door, he is going to have to build it and carry it and hang it on the hinges himself. You are not doing carpentry for a grown man. Skip this rule and you will be in a 3-day text marathon that ends with him promising to see you soon and then vanishing for another 2 months. Because anniversary reach outs are almost never real intentions. They are emotional hangovers. And you cannot build a future on a hangover. Sign number 6. And this one is deeper. He watches your progress, not just your stories. Your progress. He notices the promotion. He notices the vacation. He notices the new haircut. He notices the new piece in your face. And you will know he has noticed because the reach out will be timed suspiciously close to a moment of visible glow in your life. Here is the psychology. Men are drawn to ascension. A man who saw you at your lowest and pulled away will feel a strange tug when he sees you at your highest. Not because he wants to celebrate you, because he wants to claim credit, because he wants to insert himself into a story that is being written without him, because he does not want to be forgotten by the woman he underestimated. Your behavior is to continue ascending as if he is not watching. Post the promotion, post the vacation, post the peace, but not for him, for you. And more importantly, for the God who restored you. Because the moment you post for his eyes, your posts start to smell like performance. And performance repels the one thing you are trying to attract, which is a man's genuine, private, sleepless respect. Skip this rule and you will begin to shape your entire life around the possibility that he is watching. And a woman shaped by an audience of one is a woman who has abandoned her own throne. Sign number 7, he cannot fully commit to somebody new. You will hear through the grapevine that he is seeing someone, and you will feel that feeling, that punch in the chest, that dizzy feeling, that need to sit down, sit with it, feel it, and then hear me. If a man has genuinely, completely, spiritually moved on from you, he does not need to keep tabs on your life. He does not need to view your stories. He does not need to send an anniversary text. He does not need to keep the hoodie. He does not need to send scouts. He is gone. And a man who is still doing any of those things while dating somebody else is not really with her. He is renting her. He is passing time. He is using her body to distract his mind from a woman it will not release. You are not to reach out. You are not to warn her. You are not to compete with her. You are not to shrink because of her. You simply continue becoming, because the version of you that he cannot forget is the version he watched you become without him. And no rebound relationship in the world can compete with a woman who has undergone a genuine transformation. Sign number 8, and this is a subtle one. His social media energy shifts. He posts less, or he posts more. But something changes. He starts posting cryptic quotes. He starts posting sad songs. He starts posting workout videos at strange hours. Or he goes completely silent when he used to post constantly. Whatever direction he shifts, that shift is often about you, because men do not post the way women post. When a man's feed changes dramatically, something in his interior world has changed. And more often than not, that change is being triggered by the woman he cannot reach. You do not comment. You do not react. You do not send a screenshot to your best friend with 3 question marks. You observe. You note. You return to your own life. Because the moment you engage with the performance, you have joined the play, and he wrote the script. Sign number 9, and this is the deepest one, so lean in. He reappears at the exact moment you have stopped waiting. Not before, not during, after. When you have genuinely, finally, in the quiet of your own soul, let him go. When you have prayed the last prayer, when you have cried the last tear, when you have accepted that he may never come back, when you have made peace with the version of your life that does not include him, that is when the phone will ring. Every time. Why? Because a woman who is waiting is a woman who is still tethered to him. And a man can feel a tether in his sleep. As long as you are waiting, he does not have to come, because a part of him is still with you, held there by your longing. The moment you cut the tether, the moment you truly, spiritually release him, he feels the sudden emptiness where your longing used to be. And that emptiness terrifies him, because now if he wants access to you again, he has to actually come and get it. He has to work. He has to knock. He has to become the man. Your response when he reappears at that moment is not automatic. This is not a moment for a fast yes. This is not a moment for a fast no. This is a moment for prayer. This is a moment for silence. This is a moment for sitting with God and asking, is this the man you have for me? Or is this a distraction sent to pull me back into a season you already closed? Because sometimes God will bring him back restored. And sometimes God will bring him back one last time so you can look him in the eye, feel absolutely nothing, and finally know that the healing is real. Both are gifts. But you cannot know which one it is if you jump too fast. The exact behavior is this. You take 3 days before responding to anything meaningful, he says. 3 days. That is not games. That is discernment. In those 3 days you pray. You talk to a wise woman in your life. You do not tell him yes. You do not tell him no. You go quiet and you listen for the still small voice inside you. And when the answer comes, sister, you will know. And whatever the answer is, return or release, it will be the right one. Because it came from a woman who has become her own source. If this is speaking to your spirit, drop the word het in the comments so I know you're with me. And share this with the sister you know needs to hear it tonight. Because there is a woman in your phone right now sitting on the same edge of the same bed you were sitting on 20 minutes ago, and she needs to hear this voice too. Now let me bring this home, because I did not come here tonight only to teach you. I came here tonight to bless you. And what I am about to say in this final part is the part you are going to remember 6 months from now, when you are on the other side of this pain, and you look back and cannot believe you used to be the woman who cried over a man who could not even say your name out loud. Let me tell you about the woman you are becoming. 6 months from now, you will be sitting somewhere, maybe on your porch, maybe in a coffee shop, maybe in your car on your way home from work, and his name will appear on your phone. And you will notice something extraordinary. You will notice that your chest does not lift. Your breathing does not change. Your palms do not sweat. You will notice with a small and holy surprise, your body has finally caught up with your spirit. And you will let the phone rest. And you will finish your coffee. And you will drive home. And 3 hours later, or maybe the next afternoon, or maybe never, you will look at the message and you will feel nothing but a quiet, warm compassion for a man who once meant everything to you and now means only what a good memory means. That is the woman you are becoming. She reads his message and takes 3 hours to reply, not because she is playing a game, but because her life is genuinely more interesting than his text. She prays instead of texts. She writes in a journal instead of scrolling his profile. She calls her mother. She meets her friend for dinner. She reads a book she has been meaning to read for 2 years. She goes to bed at a decent hour. She wakes up early. She moves her body. She eats real food. She stops looking for closure in his mouth because she has found closure in her own soul. She has become the woman he now fears losing, not because she performed the role, because she embodied the truth. And I want you to hear me on this next part. She did not become this woman by winning him back. She became this woman by winning herself back. His return, if it happens, is a bonus. It is not the prize. She is the prize. Her peace is the prize. Her presence in her own life is the prize. Her ability to sleep through the night is the prize. Her ability to walk past the mirror and love the woman staring back is the prize. That is the transformation, not the ring, not the reconciliation, the restoration. Now, let me tell you something about God, because none of it is possible without him. There is a table already prepared for you. It was set before you were born. And every man who was not meant to sit at that table with you was going to be removed one way or another by his own choice, by your growing standards, by God's quiet hand shifted the pieces of your life while you slept. The silence you have been suffering through was not punishment. It was preparation. It was God pulling weeds out of a garden he is planning to fill with something you do not yet have the eyes to imagine. You thought you lost him. You did not lose him. You were being spared. There is a difference, sister, and most women never learn it until they are on the other side of the pain looking back. God did not build you to beg for a seat at a table. He already prepared for you. Read that back. Sit with it. Let it wash the last bit of shame out of you. Because every hour you spent chasing a man was an hour you spent doubting the sovereignty of a God who has been fighting for you since before your mother knew your name. What is meant for you cannot miss you. Write that down. Say it out loud. Say it in the car. Say it in the showers. Say it when you feel your hand reach for that phone. What is meant for you cannot miss you. And what missed you was not meant for you. And what missed you was not meant for you. And what missed you was not meant for you. Say it until your body believes it. Now here is the promise I want to leave you with. There is coming a season in your life. It is closer than you think, when you will look at the woman in the mirror and you will not recognize her in the best possible way. Her eyes will be clearer. Her skin will be brighter. Her spine will be straighter. Her laugh will be louder. Her walk will be slower. Because a woman who knows her worth does not rush anywhere. Understand me? A woman who knows her worth walks like she has already arrived, because she has. And in that season, sister, men will come, not the boys, not the ones who ghost and reappear, not the ones who love bomb and disappear. Men, grown men, men who see you and know within a week that they are looking at a woman they will have to become better to keep, and they will get to work. Because a man does not chase a woman he does not respect, and a man does not run from a woman he does respect. He builds, he commits, he shows up. And the man who left you in the silence, he will hear about you. He will see you from a distance. He will realize what he had. He will feel in his chest the specific, quiet ache of a man who understands too late that a woman is not a resource you can pause and resume. She is a season. And when the season ends, another man walks into the field she cultivated. Some of you are going to marry the man who returns. Some of you are going to marry a man you have not yet met. Some of you are going to marry your own peace and be more whole in that marriage than most women are in a house with a husband. All three are victories. All three are ordained. All three are God saying, I told you I was working on your behalf. So tonight, before you close your eyes, I want you to do one thing for me. Put the phone down. Put it in another room if you have to. Sit somewhere quiet and say this out loud so your own ears can hear it. Say, I am not the woman I was yesterday. I am not going to be the woman I was yesterday. I am chosen. I am protected. I am restored. I am unbothered. I am unshakable. I am his. And what is his cannot miss me. You are not the woman he left. You are the woman he was not ready for. And you never have to fight for a seat at a table where you were already appointed the head. He will remember you. Some nights he will remember you so hard he cannot breathe. He will hear a song. He will pass a restaurant. He will see a woman with your walk in a crowd, and he will feel the full weight of what he lost. That is not your business anymore, sister. That is between him and God. Your business is to keep becoming. He didn't forget you. He couldn't. Nobody forgets a woman who taught them by leaving quietly what they should have honored loudly. Now go, get some rest. Drink some water. Say a prayer for the woman who used to check her phone every 3 minutes and thank her because she carried you here. And when you wake up in the morning, walk into your day like a queen who already knows what tomorrow holds. Because she does. She always did. Peace be with you, sister. You are not alone. You are not forgotten. You are not too late. You are right on time. And the God who called you by name is not finished with you yet. Not by a long shot.